Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing all right. So, something that's been relayed to me, and maybe I should have spoken about this a little bit earlier, but anyway, so it's coming right now. So in regards to a particular person, like she's lived a hard life, man. I mean, again though, like when I say that, I have to be careful because I don't think, personally, in my opinion, I don't think anybody's been dealt anything worse than anybody else, or I don't think anybody's been gifted anything over anybody else. I think everything, is actually quite fair. um, that's my opinion. Everything has a consequence. Everything is it's energetically. I believe that there's a formula or pattern that exists in this reality that absolutely ensures that everything is fair all the time. This is karma is probably one of the biggest factors in helping keep that secure, because karma is going to make you pay for everything that you do, good and bad. This is why a lot of the things that happens to people like a lot of bad shit that happens to people, I feel, stems from two sources, from maybe even more, but two main sources. A lot of it is from their past things that they've done, and also it's also the like the resistance. Like when you're doing good, you're going to get met with resistance. That's just how shit works. When you're striving forth and you're pushing forth and you're breaching new grounds and going to new levels, like energetically, that's going to, like, you're breaching a new level. So now you got to deal with that new level and the obstacles and resistances and challenges and opponents of that level. How else would you continue to grow if there was not some type of a new challenge in order for you to grow? So, but anyway, back to a particular person. Like with her, like she's lived a, just like growing up, having her family do what they did to her, and then also being abused by other people in the way that she was abused. Like that's some hardcore fucking gnarly ass crazy, just like disgusting, like just horrible shit that is still hard for me to even fathom. That, and it's like to know that, like, this happens more often than not, man. Because I've heard other people, when I was on the streets, I had people come up to me and talking about like shit, like this shit's really fucking happening, more so than I think we even know. So I never happened to me that I'm aware of. Something might have happened to me when I was in kindergarten a long time ago, but I don't remember. But my parents never did nothing like that, so I can't, in that matter, I can't relate. But I've heard what's happened, and like that's got to be fucking devastating, man. I can imagine the like consequences of that to like doing that to a child. Like anyway, so with all that being said, the way that she's reacted, like, even being abused by a man, like she still loves men. She still continued to seek and work on relationships with men. She has chosen not to hate men, where I feel there's a lot of people in her position that either are afraid of men and don't want to do anything with them, which I would understand, or they end up hating men, or they just maybe hate, and then some people probably, along with hating men, then they also decide to just be with women and they turn into lesbians, which is understandable too. It's all understandable. Like that type of like abuse and pain and just torture that happens to somebody, that's gotta like, anyway. So like the fact though that she has continued to, like, speak, like, just like, hey, I love men, like I want men, like she's not, like, she has no hate towards men in general, even with everything that happened to her by a man. That's profound. Like that's very, very profound. And even like a lot of the darker shit she did, a lot of it I feel was like she was really trying to take out like the bad people. Like she was using herself. Maybe she did some deceitful tactics to try to lure people in, or whatever, whatever, whatever. Maybe, I don't even know. But like she's still, her intent was still to rid the earth of those that are perpetuating evil, like going after abusers and molesters and just fucked up, sick, twisted people. Like I felt like she put some decent energy into that endeavor, and that's her own way of, a kind of like orchestrating justice. And I get that, I do. I don't think it's right, because I'm all about trying to help people grow and heal and rehabilitate rather than remove. That the removal is only if it's absolutely necessary. Like if you're in a position to where it's like, you're aware of abuse happening, and it's like these people don't want to rehabilitate or grow or stop abusing people, that's when I feel it's okay to use force to go in and remove that individual from abusing somebody else. Um, but so, anyways, back to the point of the particular person. And I just want to say that, like, I feel like I, part of what I feel might be going on is she doesn't feel like she deserves love. Like she doesn't feel like she thinks she's good enough. Like, and it's like everything, what's being offered, before you is, largely, you know, if you could look, if you want to look at it like that, I don't know. I mean, like kind of like a reward. Like this is like what you like. You know, I remember her saying that she went into Colorado when she was in Colorado one day, and she climbed the top of a mountain and she just prayed to the Lord for her, you know, righteous man. And it's like to know that, yes, that is in store for you. Like that you're closer to that than you think. Like it's there. Like, you know, you've dealt with all of what you dealt with, and you've dealt it with in a relatively good way, whereas a lot of people did not deal with it in as healthily as she did. Like she really fucking responded well, and that's what I'm getting. Like in that particular situation, with everything that happened to her, she still maintained a pretty high level of love and respect for everybody, even after being so horribly abused by her family and men. Like that's pretty hardcore to like deal with that and to still not have like an absolute hate for everybody and everything. That's what happens to a lot of people. Like they just give up, or they don't make it. They kill themselves, or they get completely lost, or they turn into completely evil, treacherous people. But in this case, she didn't. You know, she didn't. She might have fought back in her own ways and rebelled, and she still has questions, and I can get that too, because I can see from her perspective, like believing in like a God, like, you know, like I could, if I was in her, I could see how she'd be like, what the, like, what happened? Like, what did I, you know, you allow this to, what? Like, I could see how there could be some questions as to why things were allowed, but, you know, I think that's because she's looking from things in the frame of just this one life. And it's like, well, I was a kid. Like, what the hell are you going to do this to a kid for? Like, you know, I didn't even know nothing. And like, this is my reality. Like, what the fuck? Like, but again, I think that's where it goes back to past deeds. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. That's the only thing that I can make sense of, like why God would allow something like 10,000 children dying every single day from starvation. You know, being almighty God, you'd think he'd have enough power to go in there and feed those kids. But no, they die every day. They get raped every day. And it's like, why? The only thing that can come up to me is that they've done something to deserve that. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean those of us that aren't dealing with that need to sit back and just let them continue to suffer. No, it's our good duty in the service of Yahushua to help them out, to help teach them what they might have done wrong, to help steer them a different path, to help them forgive like those that have hurt them, and also to help them move in a good way. And that's how you transmutate energy, because these people that are being abused in Africa and stuff, a lot of times they grow up so fucked up, they just end up fucking other people up because they don't know anything else. That's how they grew up, this is why it's a perfect example for her. And like, she did something different. And most people turn into pure hate after doing what she dealt with. But she didn't. She decided to change. You know, she still wanted love. She still sought love. She still perpetuated that love for another, that desire to truly commingle in a good, healthy, beautiful fucking way. You know, maybe not, she wasn't quite aware of it, but I think she's always had that desire within herself, and she never given up on it. She may have fought it and maybe hurt it and maybe tried to push it away, but she knows it's always been there. And a lot of that is a choice to hold on to that, because you can push that shit away, you can destroy that, you can transmutate that, you can fuck that up, you can poison it, you can torture it, you can repel against it all you want. And you know, she may have done a little bit of that, but I think she kept a lot of that alive. Otherwise, I don't think she would have liked the band Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, that's a beautiful, loving band that's all about making love and good times and good harmony. Like, I don't think it's possible to really love a band like that and not have some type of a seed of wanting to live like a hippie-ish type loving life for everybody. You know, even with everything that she's been through. So just want her to know that she's done really good. She's come farther than she thinks. And it's also like, when you're doing good, like, you know, this is one of the conceptions that fucks me up. Is like, I'll be doing really, really good, and then I'll still get hit with all this crazy and negative emotions and shit. And it's like, you're like, why? Like, why am I getting hit with this? I'm supposed to be doing good. Well, it's only because you are doing so good. Like, you're getting hit with this resistance because you're making such good progress. So it's important to remember in those moments that it's not that you can, like, I think we can get confused in thinking that we're still pieces of shit because we're feeling like shit. But, you know, that a lot of that shit is just resistance trying to keep you from growing because you're doing so good. So anyways, all right, I love y'all. Take care. Bye.